Was sponsored by Epidemic Sound. For all your music and sound needs, please visit Epidemic Sound. If you need ocean waves, a face slap or punch, thunder, keyboard clicking, some 90s rock and roll. For your first month's free, please visit Epidemic Sound, link in my description. Let's get into the video. Okay, so what is the goddamn deal, YouTube? It is, of course, your boy Vuhlandes. And before we get this video started, I'm gonna need y'all to do me a favor and go annihilate the like button, destroy the like button, beat the shit out the like button, whatever you gotta do to help your boy out. It's always gratefully and truthfully appreciated. But anyway, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can tell stories, or how to tell stories through the portraits that you take. Everybody in this world, in this universe, wherever you are, wherever you were born, wherever you were raised, everyone has a story to tell. And as photographers, the cool thing about being a photographer, especially a portrait photographer, even if you don't take portraits or you take portraits here and there, you have the ability to tell stories. If you just take like landscapes, like you can still tell stories through landscape photos, but today we're talking about portrait photography. It's pretty dope that photographers have the abilities to tell the stories of these people that they take pictures of, people that I've just met, the people that I'm going to meet in the future, the people that I don't talk to no more, the people that I've met once and I've never talked to them again. I have photos of these people, and I have my own interpretation of the stories of these people and the people that I photograph, and then they have their own stories that's being told through these photographs too. So that's a dope thing, that you can tell your own story of the interaction with the person while also telling their story too. So yeah, just gonna talk a little bit about that. But right now I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head over to the southwest side of Detroit and hang out and do a little bit of photography real quick, and then I'll be back to talk to y'all about some things. What's that?
Anything I want to say to the can?
Yeah.
Detroit bike life. My first day on the four-wheeler for real. Kind of like how they wheelie. This shit is easy. Everybody need to put them guns down and get a bike, start wheeling. That shit fun as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. That's all I gotta say for real.
It's your first day wheeling for real?
Yeah, my first day. Like, I don't even gotta, like, I just learned how to ride a bike, like, completely with the gears and everything, like, a week ago.
Like this kind of bike?
Yeah, this type of bike.
Oh, okay.
Like, I didn't know how to ride gears and all that. Like, that joint was complicated, but like after you get it, it's like mad easy.
Okay,
like, it's common sense.
So let me see a wheelie.
Alright.
I'm right behind you. Oh look, you can.
I'm warming out, guys. Just learned. I just said it though.
Uh-oh.
I'm warming out.
Not gonna lie, not bad for just learning how to wheelie today. It's crazy. He about to get hit. He tripping. All right, and now we're back at the crib. It's always cool being around people and in that type of environment where it's definitely very family oriented and everybody around is having a good time, and you're taking pictures, you're doing what you do, conversations, getting to know people, doing what you do. And that's the best part about being a photographer to me. All the people that I've met, all the people that I now call family, that people that I call my brothers, good friends of mine that I've met through photography, is probably the best thing to happen to me since becoming a photographer. So anyway, let's just talk about telling stories through portraits. So even before I was a photographer and I was taking pictures of my homies on like a little Razor flip phone, I've always done my best to try and tell a story through the photos that I take of people. A lot of the times when I was younger, I was just taking these photos because they were cool photos to take. And I wasn't necessarily at first trying to tell a story, but as I grew as a photographer, started getting a grasp of what I wanted my photography to be and the story I wanted to tell of not only the people in my photos but myself, I started definitely zoning in and focusing on the ways I can tell stories of the people that I am taking. And I know a lot of the times people go out, including myself, and we just go out and we take photos of people, and it's necessarily not a story to be told, and there's necessarily not anything going on outside of a cool picture being taken. But even in those instances, you can still create and find ways to create and tell the stories of a person, of the person you're taking pictures of. So for one, the environment that you shoot these pictures of people in will probably tell the biggest story. And the best ways, in my opinion, to tell stories while also taking pictures of people is to use a wider angle lens. If y'all know me and you guys are familiar with my work, you know that I use very much heavily use wide angle lenses, 24 millimeters, 35 millimeters, and sometimes 50, but that's sometimes. But for the most part, I'm using a very wide angle lens to help move the story along with my portrait. So when I place people in an environment, my goal is to not be so much focused on the environment they're in, still focusing on the subject that I'm taking pictures of, but having that environment and having them in a place helps set the mood. And not all the time do I take pictures of people in environments and it's like their natural environment. I still think there's stories to be created, and as a photographer and as an artist, I do like to create stories on my own while outside of being a documentary photographer and just having those environments already set for me and taking pictures of people in their environment already. I do, as an artist, try to make my own environments and tell my own stories. Just like the photos that I took of Tyler in an old hotel bathroom, where I tried to tell a story of Black beauty and elegance, while this bathroom style was kind of set in like an older time. Definitely doesn't feel like a 2021 bathroom or a 2020s bathroom, like everything's new, everything's very clean and modern. It's definitely like an older school type of bathroom. So I put her in clothes and gowns that kind of fit that scene and kind of told that story and put you in a different place. Like you don't, like when you look at this photo, at least when I took this photo, I wanted it to feel like you are looking at a photo from the 1900s, probably like 1980s to the 2000s or so. Also, while telling this story, I used film instead of digital because I thought it would help push that narrative along because of the natural aesthetic that film has and how it makes things feel when you look at them. So I used film. But on the contrary, you can also still tell stories with no environment whatsoever, like the picture I took of my friend Ruma, where we're just shooting on a white background. But for these photos, she wore an all white gown, and the only thing that stood out was her skin and the jewelry that she wore. So I wanted to tell this story of this woman being very soft and kind of angel-like, and the jewelry that she's wearing is very particular to where she's from. So I kind of wanted that to be the focus, and I thought the best way to tell that story was to just be to exclude her from an environment and just focused on her. I know it seems like sometimes people just go out and they take portraits or they just take pictures and like they're very good at it, but I do think there is some thought and timing that goes into a lot of the photos that other people take. I know for me, sometimes when I have ideas or sometimes when I'm thinking about doing something, I don't immediately do it. I kind of sit on ideas for weeks, even months sometimes, before I actually go out and do them because of the things that I need and the things that I want particularly for these photos. The camera, the lenses, the accessories all go into play when I think about telling a certain story. And whose story am I telling? Whether it's a girl in a field on a very hot day in a dress, or one of my friends in a trap with an AK-47 on his shoulder. These both tell two different stories. Nonetheless, they both tell a story. So, and sometimes with telling these stories, they just happen. Sometimes I take pictures of my friends and some of these stories just happen. Like the photo of my friend with the AK-47 on his shoulder looking out the window. So we're sitting inside this home, very cold. It was freezing this day inside this home too, because it had no heat and it was like the middle of winter. But we all heard something very loud going on outside. So my friend, he already had the gun in his hand. So when he went to go look outside, he threw it on his shoulder and looked out the blinds. And at that point, I didn't even care anymore about what was going on outside. I seen the shadow that was coming in on the wall, and then I just started taking pictures. I was like, this is real crazy. But this photo is telling the story of him looking outside with a gun as if something's going on, because that's literally what was going on. So sometimes photos tell very precise, exact stories, and sometimes you gotta dig and figure it out sometimes. But that's the cool part about art. That's a cool thing about photography. That's why we do this. That's why that's why I'm a photographer. I love the storytelling aspect of photography. So yeah, man, that's just some things that I think about when I go into doing some storytelling with my photography. But anyway, man, I hope this helped y'all out. I hope you guys got something out of it. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you are already subscribed, I'm not talking to you because you already did what you had to do. Hey man, let's get up out of here and let's go do some shit. You know the vibes.